What if I told you that some of the greatest R&B voices of all time are still here, living legends who survived the fame, the chaos, and the years that took so many others away? They ruled the charts, shaped generations, and defined the very sound of soul. Yet while others faded into silence, these icons kept the music alive. From timeless voices that still give you chills to artists who quietly continue to inspire, their stories prove that true legends never die, they just keep shining. These are 8 R&B legends who are still alive and with us today. 8. Dionne Warwick, age 84. Some singers make you feel something the first time you hear them, and then there's Dionne Warwick, whose voice makes you feel everything. For more than 6 decades, she's carried a sound that's both sophisticated and soulful, elegant yet deeply emotional. Long before the digital age, when radio ruled the world, Dionne was already a star, turning songs like Walk On By, Heartbreaker, and I Say a Little Prayer into timeless anthems. Her music didn't just touch people's hearts, it stayed there. Born in New Jersey, Dionne started singing gospel before stepping into the world of pop and R&B. Her partnership with Burt Bacharach and Hal David in the 1960 Seconds became legendary, creating songs that perfectly balanced emotion and melody. What made her special wasn't just her technical skill, it was her ability to deliver heartbreak with grace. She sang about love, loss, and hope in a way that felt honest, never forced. Through the decades, Dionne Warwick adapted to changing times while keeping her core identity intact. She earned Grammy Awards, sold millions of records, and became one of the most respected female voices in music. Even now, at 84, she hasn't slowed down. She performs occasionally, appears on TV, and connects with fans through her witty social media presence, where her humor and warmth shine just as much as her talent. What makes Dionne truly remarkable is her balance of dignity and relatability. She's never tried to chase fame. She's always let her music speak for her. From the early days of vinyl to the era of streaming, her songs continue to remind people that simplicity, honesty, and soul never go out of style. Dionne Warwick isn't just an R&B legend. She's living proof that true artistry never fades with age. It simply grows richer, deeper, and more meaningful over time. 7. Stephanie Mills, age 68. Stephanie Mills isn't just a singer, she's a powerhouse of emotion, determination, and pure soul. Her journey in music began long before she was a household name. As a teenager, she stepped onto the Broadway stage and changed everything with her unforgettable role as Dorothy in The Wiz. When she sang Home, the audience didn't just hear a song, they felt every word, every note, every ounce of heart she poured into it. That performance was more than a breakout moment. It was a promise of what was to come. During the late 70s and 80s, Stephanie became one of R&B's most beloved voices. Her rich, commanding vocals brought hits like Never Knew Love, Like This Before, and Something in the Way You Make Me Feel to life. These weren't just catchy songs. They were emotional experiences that spoke directly to love, heartbreak, and resilience. She earned Grammy Awards, platinum albums, and a fan base that still follows her to this day. But what truly makes Stephanie stand out isn't her fame, it's her faith, strength, and authenticity. While many artists changed with every trend, Stephanie stayed true to her roots. She faced personal and professional challenges, yet she never let them define her. Instead, she used them to fuel her art, proving that real soul music doesn't come from perfection, it comes from truth. Even now, at 68, she performs live with the same fire that made her a star decades ago. Her voice still fills a room with warmth and power, reminding everyone that time can't dull true talent. Beyond the stage, Stephanie connects with her fans on social media, speaking with honesty about life, music, and faith. She represents everything R&B was built on: passion, perseverance, and love. Her career is living proof that when your gift comes from the heart, it never fades. It only grows stronger with every note you sing. 6. Patti LaBelle, age 81. When people talk about soul, they often mention passion, power, and presence, and Patti LaBelle embodies all three. For more than 60 years, She's been a voice that could shake a stage and touch a heart at the same time. Long before she became known as the godmother of soul, Patti was just a girl from Philadelphia with a dream and a voice that refused to be ignored. With her group LaBelle, she lit up the 70s with hits like Lady Marmalade, a song that broke barriers and gave women in R&B a new kind of confidence. But Patti's success didn't stop there. When she went solo, her voice soared even higher with timeless songs like If Only You Knew and On My Own. Her performances weren't just concerts, they were emotional experiences. She could belt out high notes 1 minute and make you tear up the next. Every word she sang felt like it came from her soul, raw and real. That's why audiences around the world fell in love with her, because she didn't just sing, she testified. Even at 81, Patti's energy is unstoppable. She still performs, cooks up soul food for fans through her famous food brand, and keeps the same fire that made her unforgettable. Her grace and honesty make her more than just a legend. She's an example of how to age with purpose and joy. She's lived through every era of R&B, watched it evolve, and still stands proudly as one of its brightest lights. What makes Patti LaBelle special is that she never tries to be anyone else. She's bold, she's kind, and she's fearless. Her voice continues to inspire generations, proving that true artistry doesn't fade with time. Patti doesn't just represent the golden age of R&B, she carries its spirit, reminding the world that soul isn't something you perform, it's something you live every single day. 5. Gladys Knight, age 81. When you hear the name Gladys Knight, one phrase immediately comes to mind: the Empress of Soul. Her voice is one of those rare instruments that doesn't just sing the lyrics, it tells the story behind them. Smooth, rich, and full of emotion, her sound became the heartbeat of R&B from the 1,960 seconds onward. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, Gladys began performing at just 4 years old and never stopped. With her group, Gladys Knight and the Pips, she turned songs like Midnight Train to Georgia and Neither One of Us into eternal classics that still give listeners chills today. Gladys didn't just sing about love and loss, she lived it through her music. Every performance felt honest, filled with soul and experience. Her ability to blend power with tenderness made her stand out in a world full of stars. Even when the music industry changed, her sound remained timeless, her grace unshaken. Through Motown, through disco, through decades of transformation, Gladys stayed true to herself. At 81, she continues to perform and inspire. Her voice has matured with age, carrying even more depth and emotion than before. She often shares her faith and gratitude, reminding everyone that music is more than fame, it's service, connection, and healing. Watching her sing today feels like watching living history in motion. She commands respect, not just for her talent, but for the humility and warmth she brings wherever she goes. Gladys Knight's journey isn't just about success, it's about endurance. She's proof that when you sing from your heart, time can't silence you. Younger artists still look to her as the blueprint for authenticity and soul. After more than 60 years in the spotlight, she's still that same woman from Georgia, graceful, grounded, and overflowing with passion. Gladys Knight remains a true queen of R&B, carrying the same fire that made the world fall in love with her all those years ago. 4. Smokey Robinson, age 85. If Motown had a heartbeat, it would sound a lot like Smokey Robinson. His silky voice, poetic lyrics, and timeless charm helped shape the very foundation of R&B and soul music. Born in Detroit in 1940, Smokey grew up surrounded by rhythm and hope, dreaming of a life in music. That dream came true when he formed The Miracles, a group that would change music forever. With songs like Tracks of My Tears, Tears of a Clown, and You've Really Got a Hold on Me, Smokey became the voice of romance, heartache, and pure soul. He wasn't just a singer, he was one of Motown's greatest songwriters. Smokey penned hits for The Temptations, Mary Wells, and Marvin Gaye, shaping an entire generation's sound. His gift was in his simplicity. He could take the most complicated feelings and turn them into melodies everyone could understand. His words painted pictures of love, longing, and vulnerability that still resonate decades later. As time passed, Smokey transitioned into a successful solo career, blessing the world with hits like Being With You and Cruisin'. Even now, at 85, his voice remains remarkably smooth, that same gentle tone that once filled radios around the world. He continues to tour, perform, and inspire younger artists who grew up idolizing him. His presence alone reminds people of an era when music was pure, heartfelt, and real. What makes Smokey Robinson so special isn't just his success, it's his spirit. He's lived through every phase of the industry, yet his love for music never faded. Always smiling, always graceful, he carries himself with the same quiet confidence he had in his 20s. Smokey's songs taught generations how to feel, how to love, and how to forgive. His voice is a reminder that R&B's soul still lives on, not just in history books or records, but in the living, breathing legacy of Smokey Robinson himself. 3. Stevie Wonder, age 75. When you talk about genius in music, Stevie Wonder's name always rises to the top. Blind, since shortly after birth he never saw the world through his eyes, he felt it through sound. From a young age, his gift was undeniable. Signed to Motown at just 11 years old, he became Little Stevie Wonder, a child prodigy whose talent amazed the world. But no one could have predicted how far his brilliance would go. By his teens, Stevie wasn't just performing, he was reinventing what music could be. Through the 70s, he released a streak of albums that changed R&B and soul forever. Records like Talking Book, Innervisions, and Songs in the Key of Life weren't just successful, they were spiritual experiences. Songs such as Superstition, Sir Duke, and Isn't She Lovely proved that his creativity had no limits. He blended funk, jazz, gospel, and pop into something entirely his own. And behind every note was a message of hope, unity, and love. Stevie's music didn't just entertain people, it healed them. Even now, at 75, Stevie Wonder remains a symbol of resilience and faith. He still performs, still writes, and still believes in the power of love to change the world. Whether singing before world leaders or celebrating life with fans on stage, his voice carries the same warmth it always has. Time hasn't dulled his energy or passion, if anything, it's deepened them. 2. Lionel Richie, age 76. Few artists have managed to blend soul, pop, and romance as beautifully as Lionel Richie. His voice has a warmth that feels like comfort, smooth, sincere, and instantly recognizable. Born in Tuskegee, Alabama, Lionel started out as a saxophonist before finding his true calling as a singer and songwriter. In the 1,970 seconds, he rose to fame as a member of the Commodores, delivering unforgettable hits like Easy, 3 Times a Lady, and Still. Those songs became the soundtrack to countless love stories, proving that Lionel understood the emotions people struggled to put into words. When he launched his solo career in the early 1,980 seconds, Lionel didn't just continue his success, he reached new heights. Songs like Hello, All Night Long, and Stuck on You made him a global superstar. His voice carried warmth and honesty, and his lyrics spoke to the universal desire for love and connection. Every note felt genuine, every melody familiar yet fresh. He didn't need to shock audiences or chase trends, he simply sang from the heart, and the world listened. Even now, at 76, Lionel Richie remains a shining example of timeless artistry. He tours around the world, performing to sold-out crowds who still know every word of his songs. His energy on stage, his sense of humor, and his love for music have never faded. As a judge on American Idol, he mentors young singers, guiding them with wisdom and encouragement, just as his mentors once guided him. 1. Chaka Khan, age 72. Can you believe that Chaka Khan, the woman behind some of the funkiest, most powerful vocals in music history, is now 72 and still owning every stage she steps on? Known as the Queen of Funk, she started out as the lead singer of Rufus in the early 70s and gave the world timeless hits like Tell Me Something Good, Sweet Thing, and Ain't Nobody. Her voice wasn't just heard, it was felt. Every note carried attitude, soul, and pure fire. But behind that confident presence was a woman who had to fight harder than most to stay standing. Chaka's journey wasn't all glitz and glamour. Fame hit her young, and with it came chaos. She openly battled addiction for years, struggling to keep control of her career and her peace of mind. Yet, through every downfall, she refused to let her story end there. In her own words, she had to learn how to live again, and that's exactly what she did. By the 2000s, she had completely turned her life around, focused on health, spirituality, and using her platform to inspire others who felt trapped in their own darkness. Even now, in her 70s, Chaka Khan's energy could outshine artists half her age. Her signature hair, her fierce style, and that unmistakable voice still command attention. She continues to perform, record, and remind the world what true soul sounds like, unfiltered and full of life. Fans love how she keeps it real, embracing age with confidence instead of running from it. She's proof that talent never fades, it just grows richer with time. These R&B legends gave us songs that became the soundtrack of love, pain, and everything in between. But with so many icons still out there, creating, performing, and inspiring, it makes you wonder how many more living legends have we forgotten to celebrate. If you loved this trip down memory lane, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with other R&B fans, and subscribe for more stories about the voices that changed music forever.